Hi, Too Cool Stamping friends. This is Angie here. We're trying for the third time. I don't know why my broadcast keeps locking up and failing, but we're going to try it again. Anyway, we are here with our live class for this week, and I'm so excited to be able to present to you the Hydrangea Hill Suite. Beautiful blues, beautiful purples, and gorgeous flowers, and that's what our class is going to be this week. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Angie, and I'm here with Too Cool Stamping, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you need a demonstrator, you can always find me at toocoolstamping.com and see what I'm all about. All right, before we get started with our class today, I just want to give you a little update on what is happening this week. If you didn't check in yesterday and didn't know, we do have an official last chance retiring list that was just announced yesterday. You're going to want to get your hands on that. You can go to my website, toocoolstamping.com, and print off a PDF for that. And if you wait until later today, I'm actually going to have a better more readable version. The one that they have now is kind of small print, and I don't know about you, but I have a hard time reading it. But I'm going to put up a little bit larger print version later today when I do my blog post, so you can look for that. But it has all of the things that are retiring from the current annual catalog. That catalog is good through the end of, or through May 3rd. So everything in this catalog will end on May 3rd. Well, not everything, but this catalog will end on May 3rd. And then you can check out the retired list, the last chance list. That's going to tell you what items are going to be gone for good after May 3rd. And actually, as of yesterday, starting yesterday, all of those soon to retire products are while supplies last only. So you never know when they're going to sell out, and you don't want to wait, especially for any of the in color items. I know a lot of times people want to stock up on their favorite in colors that are leaving and get that card stock, get the refill ink to make sure that they have enough. And you'll definitely want to stock up on those things. Some of the items on that list are actually discounted, and many of them are discounted about 20% is the average, but some are discounted up to 40, even 60 or more percent. So be sure to check that out. There's a lot of designer series papers and punches, dies, a lot of embellishments that are on sale. So check that out, and that will certainly mean that they're going to go faster as well. So stock up now, get those orders in now for those last chance items. Again, those are good while supplies last through the end of the annual catalog on May 3rd, and then on May 4th, brand new catalog, and demonstrators were able to see a copy of that yesterday. That's always an exciting day in demonstrator world. So, and if you want to join us, you can join the Too Cool team, and you can get a peek at the new catalog too. And you can just ask me, just contact me. I'll give you more information about how you can join the Too Cool team. All right, second part of the last chance list is the last chance items from the mini catalog, and that is our current January to June. This is a catalog that lasts through the end of June, and we have a list now of those items that are going to be retiring, just as a kind of a for your information. None of those are going to be discounted yet until June 1st. Then we'll have a select amount of items that are discounted from this particular catalog. And I did put the wrong date. If you happen to see my blog post yesterday, I said that this catalog was ending May 31st. That's not true. I'm thinking about in the past, and they have updated the timing of their mini catalog. So this one actually runs through June 30th, and then on June 1st, we're going to find out which of those soon to retire items are going to be discounted. So you'll be able to look for that as we get closer to June. Now, while these items are still available, of course, we have lots of months left for those. They're not at a while supplies last type of a status yet, but they do have a limited availability for this catalog. So as we get closer to the end of the catalog, you may see some of those items selling out. And I'll try to keep you updated on what things are getting low or what things are selling out as we get closer to that. All right, let's get started with our class. You guys are gonna love this class if you love hydrangeas especially, and especially if you love blues and purples like I do. So hold on while we do a little roller coaster ride. Thank you so much for joining us, for those of you who are here already, and for those of you who are gonna be a part of the replay later. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry, I was gonna get that all flipped on there. Okay, there we go. Let's get that. Okay, I have to fix it again. I keep having this little handle right in the way, so let's move that over a little bit. This is so awkward and horrible. There we go. Okay. Nope. I apologize. Close your eyes and maybe we'll get it right here. Okay. I cannot get this little piece out of the way, and I apologize. We'll just have to live with it for this time. I'm sorry about that. I had all kinds of technical difficulties right at the beginning, and it screwed up the way I had my little my setup here, so I apologize. Okay, let's get started with the Hydrangea Haven suite. I want to show you what's in the suite first. First of all, we have the really cute Hydrangea Haven stamp set. It has the classic hydrangeas. It's a two-step stamp set in photopolymer, and a lot of other two-step images, and then a lot of really cute sentiments. And some of them are really small, and you'll see why, because there's a little tag that you can use with your hydrangea, and so there's lots of little sentiments for you, with love, congrats, thank you, I love you. Lots of cute little expressions that really make this particular stamp set special. And then of course we have some dies that go with it, the Hydrangea dies. You have that main classic hydrangea outline that's gonna be die cut easily. Then we have some textured and die cut layering that we can do, including some leaves and some different blooms that we can add. There's even a little label here for a lot of those little the little sentiments and that cute tag that I was talking about that we're going to add to one of the cards as well. So I love this bundle. Remember, you can get it as a bundle for now. And also, let's talk about this gorgeous paper. You guys, if you like blues and purples, like I said, this is going to be spectacular for you. And the imagery is beautiful. I love the artwork on here, is absolutely gorgeous. So you have lots of different designs here. I love this one because you can just cut it out and stamp right on it and have a beautiful card background. Some other patterns here in the florals. Just beautiful kind of watercolor images. And then if you flip this over, then you have lots of fun patterns on the background. And this whole suite is a lot of Seaside spray, Highland heather, some gorgeous grape, the old olive, the rococo rose, beautiful color combination. And I just had so much fun playing with the colors. So I know you're gonna like these papers. Now I'm gonna show you also in the suite, but I'm not using any of these. Hopefully you can even see these. This is the Mercury Glass paper, Hydrangea Hill Mercury Glass, and we are not using any on our projects today, but I did want to show you what they look like. There's 4 sheets and there's 2 patterns, 2 of each pattern. One is, there's 2 different colors here. I'm trying to remember what colors they are. It is Highland Heather and Rococo Rose. So you'll get kind of smaller splotchiness, and then these dots are a little bit more widespread. And the cool part I love about it is that they are kind of a silvery color on the back, so that you can use this as an elegant background piece for all kinds of projects. So maybe on another class we will tackle that Mercury Glass paper. And then a couple other things from our suite here, the Hydrangea Hill Suite. The gorgeous grape ribbon. I just absolutely love it. I love having any kind of purple ribbon. And then my absolute favorite is the the pearls. These are called Pastel Pearls, and they come in the Gorgeous Grape, the Seaside Spray, Highland Heather, and Rococo Rose colors. Absolutely beautiful. Loving those. And these are kind of larger than they're kind of like a large size pearl. If you're used to getting the pearl jewels, they're on the larger side of that. All right, let's get started with our projects today. Oh, don't let me forget, our live class also has the live class kit, and I'll be showing you cards that are going to be included in that 5-card kit. You'll be able to earn all the supplies to create that card kit for an order of $35 or more placed at my toocoolstamping.com website. Just click on the Shop Now link and use that hostess code. Don't forget to apply the hostess code CKFFCSUU. That's this week's hostess code so that you can earn that Hydrangea Haven live class kit. And that's going to be available between now and the end of the month. It ends on March 31st and it'll mail out on April 5th. Okay, let's get started with our projects today. I hate it when I have a rocky start. It really is because it has a bad mojo for the rest of it. We're going to end up on a really good note here. So I wanted to show that I was using that piercing mat, and that's going to help with the photopolymer. It's going to help us get a nice even transfer of ink. I am covering that with a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to do some stamping off in a little bit. So our first project starts with Crumb Cake as our card base, and this is the only card that I did that isn't blue and purple, just because I enjoy blue and purple so much, but I wanted to make sure that I used a little bit of the Rococo Rose, and so I started with a Crumb Cake card base. We have a little strip here of the Rococo Rose pattern of Hydrangea Hill paper. This is 1 by 5. And then I have a piece here of Pear Pizzazz, and this is 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. I do have this embossed already with the subtle embossing folder. You guys, it's on the last chance list. I can't even tell you. One of my favorite embossing folders of all time. This subtle texture just goes with everything. If you follow my classes, you know I use it all the time. So I'm so sad to see that one go. That is a classic. If you want that one, you need to get your hands on it now before it is gone for good. That's the subtle 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to add this Pear Pizzazz layer right in the center of my Crumb Cake card. And I'm going to have to trim this off because I cannot stand if it's not flush. No problem. Get rid of that. Next, I'm going to use this little Rococo Rose piece from the Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper. And we'll add that over here on the edge. And there is our very simple background. Now let's do some stamping. So I have here a piece of 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. I'm going to use that main hydrangea image, and I'm going to ink it up in Memento black ink. And we're just going to stamp it. I don't think I have the right. Let's see. I do. I didn't think it was the right size, but it is. I just wasn't holding it the right direction. So there's our image. And the cool part about this stamp set is it has a lot of 2-step images. So there's lots of different ways that you can color in this hydrangea. It's not just a one-trick pony like it might look just because there's one big flower. So I'm inking up the background image here, the solid 2-step image in Rococo Rose. I'm going to stamp off once, and then that's going to go right over the top here. And it doesn't match up perfectly. It's going to spill over the edges of that, and that's okay. That's the look that we want. So you can see it just really quickly and easily colors in that hydrangea. Then we're gonna do the same with the leaf image at the bottom, this time with the Pear Pizzazz. We'll ink that up with Pear Pizzazz. And I'll see if I can get this lined up with the camera in my way, but if you line the stem up, that's gonna be the easiest thing. And then again, that color is gonna spill over a little bit. That's on purpose, that's okay. So that is our main image. So quick, I am gonna add a little bit of detail with a Rococo Rose Stampin' Blends marker. Now remember, Rococo Rose, it's one of those in colors that's gonna be leaving us. And so you wanna get your hands on anything Rococo Rose that you want as soon as possible before it sells out. I'm just using the brush tip end, and I'm just adding a little bit of color right where every dot is, basically, every center flower dot, just to give it a little bit of a two-tone look there. All right, next I'm gonna pop this up with some dimensionals. And then we're gonna add this cute little sentiment with that tag that I talked about. Lots of dimensionals to pop this one up. And this will go right over the front. So cute. All right, next. In the die cuts, I mentioned that we have a little tag image here, and I've already die cut a little Blushing Bride tag, and we're gonna stamp that with one of the little sentiments. I'm just gonna use the thank you. And just as a tip, I keep offering this as a tip and people love it. There's a lot of little stamps in the stamp set, so I'll take one little one and put it on one side and one on another side, just so that I am not using as many blocks. So there's my little thank you. I love the font on that, it's so cute. And we're just gonna add that with some seal. It's gonna hang right off the edge here. And we need to tie it on there with a little linen bow. So I have one already tied up. And I'm just gonna add that with a glue dot. So let me find the end of my glue dots here. I'm gonna stick it right on the glue dot on the paper, pinch it together so I can pinch that adhesive underneath the knot of the bow so it's not as sticky everywhere else, just underneath the knot, and put that right on there. All right, we're gonna finish up with a couple of those pastel pearls. And of course, we're gonna use the Rococo Rose versions. So let's add a couple over here and one over here. Now just a note that these, I mentioned that these are very large. We already have this layer popped up. If you are gonna be mailing, you're gonna want to put a little, like maybe an extra piece of cardstock there. And you might need to use the butterfly stamp, which is the stamp that has a little bit of extra postage, so that it covers the cost of something that's a little bit thicker. Because once you get up past 1/4 of an inch, it does cost a little bit more with the post office. So just a little note about that. All right, so that is our very first card. Let me show you. The inspiration for that card actually came from a card swap that I got from my friend Julie Davison. She sent this one, and I love the simplicity of it. She had a different pattern over here of the designer series paper in the Seaside spray. She used the ovals punch and another one of the sentiments from this Hydrangea Haven stamp set. So I love her version as well. So this one is going to be in your card kit. All right, for the next one, we have kind of a fancy fold, a little bit different than we normally do. I'm starting out with a Seaside spray card base. Again, another one of those in colors that you're gonna wanna get your hands on before they are gone for good. This one I have cut at a diagonal on the front, and just went from corner to corner to get this fun diagonal card front, and then we're going to decorate that. So again, I took, this was a piece of the Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper. It was started out as a 4 by 5¼ inch piece, and I just cut it again from corner to corner. We're going to use that to decorate the front. Whoops. Make sure you get your adhesive clear out to the very tips of your corners. And we'll add that to the front. And then for the inside, we have a 4 by 5¼ piece of basic white. That's going to be for our message, but we are going to add another piece of the Designer Series paper, this time in a different pattern, and I'm going to add that to this top corner. So this is the same size. It's 4 by 5¼ just cut diagonally. Make sure when you do your cut, you want to cut from the top left to the bottom right in order to do this type of diagonal. So keep in mind, you know, kind of double check which way your cut is going. Make sure that your diagonal is going the correct way. So I'm going to put that on my background sheet. Then I'm going to add that to my inner card. And I'm going to trim this down again because it looks like I just have a little bit of white showing. I don't want that. And there we go. So there is our card front and card inside. Now we're going to do a little bit of stamping just like we did for the other one. We're going to focus on that main hydrangea image from the Hydrangea Haven stamp set. This time we're going to go in this direction. It's just inked up in some Memento black. And just as well, let's do our leaves first. We're going to do that 2-step stamping again. So easy. So a little bit of Pear Pizzazz. You could use the Old Olive. It's a little bit darker. I was liking the look of the Pear Pizzazz, which is a little bit lighter. But both match very well. Okay, so this time I'm going to show you, we had this look where the color was kind of bleeding outside of the Memento ink, the outline. This time we're going to use a smaller image. It's actually this little image here, and we're going to ink that up in Highland Heather. I'm going to show you how, if you don't want it to be bleeding out, but you want a really quick way to add color, you can just go right inside the lines. And this one just adds 3 different dimensions. I'm going to do another extra stamp there to kind of color in. And I love how it just fills it in with color very, very quickly. You could do it in 3 layers like I just did, or you can do it in 4 layers. But that's going to be able to color that in really, really quickly. All right, we're going to put that on a mat. This is, I don't think I mentioned, this is 3 by 4 basic white. And I'm going to put that on a Misty Moonlight 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And we're going to pop that up onto the card front. So let me show you, usually when I do a little, I have a little shortened card front or something I don't want to put dimensionals over the whole thing, we do a little flip. Well, it's not going to work this time because we have a weird diagonal there. So what you want to do is you're going to want this section to be covered. So we're just going to slip that behind there, kind of line it up, and then go like this, flip this open. Now we can see where we want to put those dimensionals. We want to make sure we don't go anywhere across that line. So you need to be very careful. All right, that looks good. And then we'll add this to the card front. Ta-da! All right, very good, very good. Next, we have a little strip of Purple Posy, also retiring. The cardstock, the Stampin' Blends, all of that's going to be retiring. This is a 3 3/4 by 3/4 inch piece of Purple Posy. And I'm going to use the long sentiment from the Hydrangea Haven stamp set. Ink it up in some Memento Black. This one says, "The world is better because of you." Isn't that sweet? I love the sentiments in this. This is also a great stamp set for Mother's Day. It's very versatile. You can use it for a lot of different occasions, but there's some sentiments in here that are perfect for Mother's Day without actually saying Mother's Day. So I'm going to add this right to the bottom. So cute. We're going to finish up with a little, I have some twine here, the Misty Moonlight and white and silver twine. This comes in the Flowers for Every Season ribbon combo pack. And I'm going to just add that with a glue dot. We'll add that right underneath the flower. And voila! I love that one. So simple, so easy, a little bit fun with that diagonal, and fun as a Mother's Day card too. All right, let me show you. Oh, you know what would be really fun? Let me show you. I actually added some Wink of Stella. This is the other card that I made ahead of time. You can add some Wink of Stella on that, and that really gives it a nice shimmer and pop. So let me show you the other card that I made. Very, very similar. I just started with the Highland Heather this time. I used the hammered metal embossing folder for the background. Thought it kind of was reminiscent of that hydrangea flower texture. A different pattern here on the bottom. Everything else is pretty much the same. I did end up having to put some of the Purple Posy playing with patterns enamel dots on there, simply because I made a mistake. There's a big blob of ink right behind this one, so I just added those, and no one knows the wiser. No one's the wiser. I love it. So this one is going to be in your card kit. All right, before I move on, I have to do a little backtrack because I wanted to show you the first card, how fun it is. There's lots of sentiments, as I mentioned. It's fun to decorate the inside of the cards too. A lot of times I know I don't show you that. It takes a little more time to show you on the card classes, but there's some fun ways that you can be decorating the insides and lots of cute sentiments. I appreciate all the little things you do. It says thank you on the outside. It goes together really nicely. Anyway, I wanted to show you that. Fun way to decorate the inside of the card. Okay, next up, another fun fold. This one is a joy fold card. It's one of my favorite classic fun folds. We're starting out with a 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then we're just scored at the 5 1/2 line over here. And this is Highland Heather. So this is going to be our background. I'm going to decorate the front here with one of the Hydrangea Hill papers, and this is in measuring 4 by 2 3/4. No, that's not true. 4 by 2 1/2. 4 by 2 1/2. On the inside, again, I have a piece of Misty Moonlight. It's 5 1/4 by 4. It's embossed with that subtle folder, which is retiring. Why is it retiring? So sad about that. I can't even tell you. But we're going to add that. We're going to play with it for now until it's not available anymore. Add that to the inside. And then we're going to add the joy fold part, which is the other part of the card base. This is an 8 by 3-inch piece. It's going to be scored right down the center at the 4-inch mark. And then this is going to go like this. It'll open backwards. So we'll add that with some seal. I love that the seal is so sticky and secure. I don't have to worry about it coming off of the textured paper. So remember that opens in the opposite direction. All right. So for the outside, before we decorate this part, I want to do a little bit of stamping. We have this splotchy, like a little watercolor wash type of an image, and we're going to use Highland Heather stamped off. So we'll stamp it off once, and then we're going to add it right, I'm going to do it upside down here, right in the corner. Cute. And then in Memento ink, we're going to add a little sentiment. This time, another one of my favorites from this set, You Make Me Smile. So that is our background. We're going to go ahead and put that onto our card base. And then, once again, that classic hydrangea. This time, this is just on some scrap paper. Whoops, I didn't do a very good job there. It's okay, I have a backup plan. So our Seaside spray is what we're going to be using for the colored image. This is just like the first one where we stamped over, and it's that, you know, that pretty color that kind of spills out over. And we're going to stamp that pear pizzazz like we did for the first couple of cards, and then we're going to use the die cut to cut it out. So I already have that one done and it's ready to go. We're going to pop this up onto this card front. You want to make sure that if you are doing this joy fold style of card, I love having things spill out, kind of break out of the box a little bit. That's really fun. You want to make sure it's on the side that opens, rather than if you're designing a card, you don't want it to be over here because that's the part that's going to fold back and it won't work correctly. So we'll put it on the outside there and it'll look beautiful. Again, lots of dimensionals. Pop that up. And whoops, and this one's just going to kind of go, I want to make sure I don't have any dimensional right behind there. I don't. Go like that. Yep, shoo, don't have any there. And then I'm just going to trim this off at the bottom so it's not hanging over quite as much. All right, so there's the flower. So cute. You can use the bone folder to really crease that. It's going to help it lay a little bit flatter. Just put the corner, or put the tip of that bone folder right in there on the crease and really see how now it's laying a little bit flatter. Okay, we're going to finish up with a few more die cuts. I have to show you. So this long strip here, this is great because it's going to cut out a bunch of these little tiny flowers. It also could create like a window floral border. But I've already cut out some of those little flowers in Seaside spray, and we're going to add those onto this card front. So again, I'm going to use my glue dots. I'm just going to pop a couple of those on there. One of them I'm going to sneak down here. And then a couple more on here. And I'm just going to use my fingernail and kind of pop those up a little bit, give them a little bit of dimension. Love that look. And then the final thing is to add some pearls on top. Now I was going to use those pastel pearls. They were just a little bit too big in my opinion for these little tiny flowers. So I'm just using some regular pearl jewels. And that's going to be perfect. If you wanted to, you could use some Stampin' Blends markers to color them whatever color that you like. I'm just using the white. I thought it looked really nice with the white. All right. So that is our third card. And let me show you before I forget. On the one that I made up ahead of time, I did do a little bit of inside stamping. There is a 2-step stamp with an outline and a fill of just those little flowers. So I thought that looked really fun along with that. And you are capable of amazing things. So it's a fun way that you can decorate the inside. And then the Too Cool version, I tried the Rococo Rose combination here. And we started out with Blushing Bride as our card base, the Rococo Rose paper, Rococo Rose background here, and then I stamped in Petal Pink and added flowers in Petal Pink. The little splotch here is in Rococo Rose, stamped off one time. So, and I didn't finish up the inside, but you get the idea. So those are the Too Cool versions. Again, we'll be doing this one in our card kit. All right, I hope you can hang on. We have a couple more, and these are going to come together pretty quickly. This next one starts out with the Misty Moonlight card base. No fancy fold this time, just regular. We have a piece of 5.5 by 2 Hydrangea Hill paper. And we're going to add that down the side. Then I have another piece of the Hydrangea Hill paper. This is 3 by 4, and I'm going to layer that on a basic white mat, which is 3¼ by 4¼ It's going to provide a really pretty background. Before we put it on our card front, I'm going to add some of the Seaside spray metallic ribbon. Sad to see that go. I love Seaside spray, so everything having to do with it is so pretty to me. We're just going to tie that in a double knot and then trim to make a little faux bow. I think I'm going to put it on this side. And then we'll add that to our card front. And I'm just going to add that with seal. You could pop it up if you wanted to, but I think seal will work perfectly for this so it doesn't get too popped up, because the next layer is going to be popped up too. All right, so there's our cute card base. Now let's do some stamping. I have a Stitch So Sweetly die cut here, and this is in basic white. We're going to stamp that You Make Me Smile image. Clean that off a little bit. And we're going to stamp that in Gorgeous Grape. Right over here. It sits right in the corner really well. Love that. Then we're going to add that large hydrangea. You don't have to have it just as a focal point. It can be a decorative element as well. So we're going to add that kind of over to the side. So it's just kind of peeking into the side here. And then next we have another little image that has those same flowers, same petals, and we're just going to add those over here. Kind of fill in around that sentiment. All right, next we're going to use some Stampin' Blends markers and color those in. And you don't have to be super fancy about coloring them. You can just color, you know, this is kind of a watercolory look, so it doesn't have to be every single thing is filled in. You can go outside the lines a little bit. So this is Seaside Spray Light. Actually, I used dark. I meant to use light. So if you use light and then go back in with dark and fill in some of those flower centers just to give it kind of a two-tone look. Then we have the Highland Heather Light. And you can see I'm not caring where the color is going that much. I'm not putting it exactly in every single color or every single petal. I'm just kind of, you can if you want to, but I'm making sure that there's some white and space in there. Just the illusion of it. Then you can go back in again with the dark and just give a little bit of color to those flower centers. And then last but not least, I didn't bring it. I didn't bring my old olive. Hold on. I had it over on my other table. Old Olive Light. And you can add a little bit of dark to the veining if you want to, just for some dimension. All right. Then we're going to pop that up onto, look at that, green over here, purple over here, Seaside spray over here. It's like I meant to do it that way. It's like it was meant to be with that piece of paper. That's pretty awesome. Put some dimensionals on here. Sometimes it all just works out perfectly. And then finally, we're gonna color some gems, the Rhinestone Gems with the dark Seaside spray. And I just use the bullet tip one. And it just gives it a hint of color, not much. And we'll just add that. Boom, boom, boom. And give it another little sparkle. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love that one. That might be one of my favorite ones. I love all the purples and blues, so can't hardly go wrong. All right, I have another Too Cool version. This one we started with the Pear Pizzazz. We used this beautiful paper on the bottom. So that was our 2-inch strip. And then I used the Seaside spray background and then did the same, pretty much the same look. I used a different sentiment and I colored the gems in with Highland Heather, and I used the gorgeous Grape ribbon for the embellishment. So this is going to be the card from your card kit. All right, everybody, we have one more card. This one's quick and easy. And I'm going to show you how you can do the hydrangea with a lot of die cutting. So this one starts with a basic white, thick cardstock. Be sure you get some of the thick cardstock. It's really sturdy. It makes a really nice card base. Next, I have that Hydrangea Hill sheet that has a little bit across the bottom, and then it has all this extra space, so you could stamp directly on it if you wanted to. We're going to just use it as a pretty background. So this is a 3 3/4 by 5-inch piece. I'm going to layer that on gorgeous Grape. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then we're going to use that gorgeous grape ribbon that I just did on the other project. We'll add that to the bottom of this one. Again, just a double knot. I like doing double knots, very simple. Don't have to worry about tying bows. And it still gives you kind of a bow look. So we'll trim that. Move this over, and then I'm going to add this to my card base. So really simple background again. Stampin' Up makes it easy with that beautiful, beautiful paper. All right, now for our focal point. This time we're going to use the Hydrangea Dies. We're going to use the Hydrangea die cut here and the leaf, and then also this leafy pattern. So I already have all of these things cut. So this is our first piece. I love this because see these little flowers? If you go through and just kind of, you can bend the paper, it's nice and bendable, and just go through and pop up a lot of those little petals and really make it kind of 3D and textured. That makes it super fun. So that's ready to go. Then I also have this piece with Pear Pizzazz. Now this was this part of this die and I just cut it off. So there's my leaves, and then I use this textured or the detailed one to create this layer. And I'll put that on there. I'm going to use some multi-purpose glue. And the way I like to do this, I forgot to bring it over here, but I like to use a silicone mat and a sponge to add this because it goes on so easy and it goes on really lightly, so you don't have clumpy little dots, little dabs of the glue. But we don't have it right here, so we're just making do. So I'm just putting just a really light dabs of that glue. And I'm doing it in the air. I mean, you know, normally you're not going to be putting glue on something and holding it up in the air. So use a better technique than that, but you get the drift. Then we're going to add this layer, and the solid is in Pear Pizzazz and the detailed is in Old Olive. So you get kind of a two-tone look. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Really, really cute. So that's going to be here. This is going to be here. Let's pop that up with some dimensionals. Remember, when you're popping up all of these flowers and then you go to adhere it, everywhere that you push down, those flowers are going to go back down. So, and everywhere you have a little dimensional, they're going to kind of go, they're going to kind of stick to it. So you don't want to put too many dimensionals, just enough to pop it up. Or if you use, probably could use that liquid glue would probably be the best way to do it for, and put it in different, you know, particular places so that you're not pushing down all the flowers. You get what I mean. All right, a couple more on these leaves. I don't think we need anything on the stem. It's just gonna have to hang out on its own. And we'll tuck that underneath. All right, so pretty. Let's do our sentiment. I have a scrap piece of paper here. We have gorgeous grape ink and another sentiment. This is To an Incredible Woman. We're going to use that ovals punch to punch that out. And we'll pop that up with another pair of dimensionals here. See how fast this one's coming together with that die cut? So quick and easy, and a whole different kind of a look. To an Incredible Woman. All right, now we can use some of those pastel pearls. And I love, on this one, our pastel pearls are going to be down on the main layer here, and the other stuff is popped up. So it kind of equals it out a little bit so they're not popped up too much. So you still are going to want to put a piece of cardstock or something on over the top of it when you put it in your envelope. So we'll use one of each. All right, I think one more thing is going to make it look even better. We have those pretty pearl shimmery pieces, but I'm going to add some Wink of Stella over the entire thing. So you're going to do a better job than this. Let me show you my other piece so I don't have to spend time on that. So you can see this has, hopefully the camera picks that up, it has a really pretty shimmer to that die cut. So that really helps that sparkle. It kind of offsets the shine from your pearls. So that is our final card. I love how quickly that one comes together. Let me show you the Too Cool version of that one. This one is the only card that I did not use the designer series paper. I thought I would just try it with the brick and mortar background. I used the purple posy retiring in color paper and the Seaside spray for the background and the sentiment. Remember, this little label here is actually a die cut. I didn't get a chance to use that on any of our cards for our card class, but that's an example of how you could use that. And there's two different sentiments that fit in there perfectly. So I love that. I used some polka dot tulle ribbon. This is retiring too. It's one of the basics, kind of a go-to white ribbon. So that's a good one to have too. You'll want to get that from the last chance list as well. All right, everybody, let's review what is going to be in your card kit. Remember, this card kit is going to have all of the supplies to make the 5 cards that I made with you today. And the only thing I'm not going to have in there is anything that is stamped and then die cut. I'll just give you the white paper, and then you'll be able to either die cut it or hand cut it out, depending on, whoops, that's not the right one, depending on whether you purchase the bundle or not. But these are all of the cards that you can make in that card kit. You're going to want to place to get that free kit, you'll place a $35 minimum order with my on my website, toocoolstamping.com. Be sure to use that host code that you see there, and you'll get all the supplies, including the embellishments, all the different layers, and you know, some of these papers might even be sold out by the time the class offer ends. So I will have them. So hopefully you'll be able to play with them. The Seaside spray, the Rococo Rose, those things are definitely what you want to get before they are gone for good. All right, everybody, I hope that you've enjoyed this beautiful set of hydrangea cards. I surely had fun making them and presenting them for you today. I appreciate you joining me and spending time and getting creative with me today. Thanks for joining me live. Thanks for watching the replay if you're here after the fact. And I look forward to joining you next week for another class on Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll be here again with another live class with Too Cool Stamping. Until then, this is Angie with TooCoolStamping.com. Bye-bye.